Good evening, everyone. I would like to convene today's City Council meeting at 6 p.m. Mr. City Clerk, may you please announce roll call?
Councilmember Tamayo,
Here.
Councilmember Torres,
Here.
Mayor Pro Tem Melendez,
Here.
Councilmember Jimenez,
Here.
Mayor Peralta.
And I am here. Thank you very much. Mr. City Attorney, can you please announce all items that will be discussed in closed session today?
Certainly, Madam Mayor. On tonight's closed session agenda, we have the following. Item number 1 is a conference with labor negotiators. This conversation is authorized under Government Code Section 54957.6. The agency negotiator is Mr. Raul Alvarez. Labor group is the Montebello Police Officers Association. Item number 2, conference with labor negotiators. This authorized under Government Code Section 54957.6. Agency negotiators, Raul Alvarez. Employee groups are, says here, various city employee groups, including but not limited to the MPMA, MFMA, MMMA, MSA, MPOA, MCEA, MFA, MMPA, MEMA, Smart-TD, and unrepresented employees. Item number 3, conference with legal counsel, existing litigation. This conversation is authorized under Government Code Section 54956.9, subsection D, subsection 1. This case is Daniel Venegas versus City of Montebello. Item number 4, conference with legal counsel, anticipated litigation. This authorized under Government Code Section 54956.9, subsection D, subsection 2. Henry R. Velasquez versus City of Montebello, case number ADJ 130483444. Item number 5, conference with real property negotiator. This conversation is authorized under Government Code Section 54956.8. The properties are 602, 604, 608, 610 Whittier Boulevard in the City of Montebello. Agency negotiators are Raul Alvarez and Mr. Joseph Palumbi. Negotiating party is the Weber Properties. Under negotiation are price and terms of sale. Lastly, item number 6, conference with legal counsel, existing litigation. This conversation is authorized under Government Code Section 54956.9, subsection D, subsection 1. The case is Romero versus City of Montebello. This is in the LA Superior Court. The case number is listed. That is all.
And there are no public comments for closed session, so we will go ahead and recess into closed session at 6:02 p.m. Thank you, everyone, for your patience. Good evening, everyone. Thank you so much for your patience. I would like to reconvene today's meeting at 7:01 p.m. Mr. City Attorney, can you please provide a summary of our closed session items?
Certainly, Madam Mayor. With all 5 members of the City Council being present, the City Council met in closed session and discussed the following items. Item number 1, staff made a presentation. Council provided direction. No final action was taken. Item number 2, staff made a presentation. Council provided direction. No final action was taken. Item number 3, staff made a presentation. The council provided direction. No final action was taken. Item number 4, staff made a presentation. The council provided direction. No final action was taken. Item number 5, staff made a presentation. The council provided direction. No final action was taken. And item number 6, staff made a presentation. The council provided direction. No final action was taken. That completes my report out of closed session. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much. Moving forward with our invocation, today we will have our city clerk conduct the invocation and pledge of allegiance by our city treasurer.
Lord, we are meeting here today to conduct matters of business. Guide our hearts and our minds in a spirit of fairness, bright thought, and speech. As we gather here today, we pray that we are ever mindful of opportunities to render our service to fellow citizens and to our community, keeping in mind always the enduring values of life, exerting our efforts in those areas and on those things upon which future generations can build with confidence. Let us continue to strive to make a better world. Amen.
Ready to begin. Pledge of allegiance.
At this time, Mr. City Manager, are there any changes to the agenda?
Mayor, council members, there isn't any changes at this time.
Okay. Moving forward with our ceremonial presentations, if I can please have my colleagues join me. The first one is to recognize Mr. Alfredo Machuca, one of our transit planners, for his incredible work on the City of Montebello's First Mile, Last Mile Master Plan, which recently received an award from the American Planning Association. If I could please have my colleagues join me up front.
Which bridges the gap between public transit and passengers' first and last mile connections here in the City of Montebello, making their entire commute safe and efficient. By integrating various transportation options, including biking, walking, and ride-sharing, the plan will create a cohesive network that supports sustainable urban mobility. Your efforts in this important initiative are greatly appreciated, Alfredo, and we thank you for your exceptional work. I had the opportunity to attend the annual gala from the American Planning Association about a month ago, where Alfredo did receive recognition among other cities as well as organizations. And I do just want to thank him for his work, as well as others within our transportation department, for really putting Montebello on the map in terms of connectivity and mobility here in the city. And all the work that they did throughout this master plan, the community engagement efforts that they conducted to ensure that they were identifying all these important arterial streets within our city and creating those policies and recommendations on how we can create a safer Montebello. Now with those policy recommendations, there are 5 projects that were identified within the first mile, last mile master plan that the city is now seeking to fund. These will create, again, safer streets, safer intersections, both for our pedestrians and those that ride bicycles within our community. And so I do just want to thank you on behalf of the City Council for all the incredible work that you've done within our transportation department, and also a shout out as he is an alumni from Shore High School. And so I think it's incredible that we have those that live within the Montebello, who grew up in Montebello, attended our local schools, also working within our city and departments. And so congratulations, Wilfredo. Okay, up next, we do have Parks Make Life Better Month. July is recognized as Parks Make Life Better. Parks promote the building of strong, vibrant, and resilient communities through the power of both parks and recreation. They offer to maintain and operate this environment within our local, state, and community parks. Montebello's Recreation and Community Services Department's mission is to strengthen community through people, parks, and programs. The department accomplishes this goal by providing rewarding programs, services, and facilities that enhance the quality of life for Montebello residents, positively influencing the public and our community. Staff are committed to strengthening Montebello's image and offering a sense of community, thereby supporting economic development, increasing public engagement, and promoting health and wellness. The department's recreation division staff includes 9 full-time and more than 50 part-time staff who will oversee all operations at 10 different parks with more than 84 developed acres annually, serving more than an estimated 1.5 million park visitors here in the city of Montebello. Recreation division staff also provide the community with year-round recreation programs for people of all ages and abilities that on average see 4,800 recreation program registrants, 200,000 senior center participant visits, and 60,000 total attendees throughout 11 annual community-oriented special events. In this last year, recreation staff continued the rollout of the Connect with Rec Recreation Guide, the Recreation Scholarship Program for low-income youth and seniors, and have been awarded over $1 million in grant funds to initiate new outdoor recreation trip programs free of charge to our community. Looking ahead, our recreation staff is working towards completing goals, including the city's first dog park at Henry Acuna Park, the construction of a new community garden, the renovation of the downstairs area of the senior center, and the installation of a new digital sign and passive park at the entrance of the Rio Hondo waterway. So today, we recognize our incredible Parks Division staff. As park and recreation professionals, you positively impact our community and the lives here of our residents. Out of the bottom of my heart, I see you guys out there in the heat, in the cold winter times, breaking down tents, putting up tents, engaging with our community, and it truly means a lot. And you are really a reflection in terms of the labor of love that we see here in the city of Montebello, from our upcoming Street Fest that we have this upcoming Saturday, all the way until the events that we have during holidays. You guys are always out there with a big smile on your face, and it truly means a lot on behalf of the City Council. So I would like to call up any of our Parks and Recreation staff, but I also would like to call up our director as well. If we can please just give him and his staff a big round of applause. I do just want to say a few words to our director, David Sosnowski. He's been a part of our community for so many years. I have stories from personal friends to family members who saw him as we were growing up here in the city of Montebello within our parks and our various different programs. And just the amount of love, the amount of dedication that you give to our community truly is so impactful. I mean, I see you here on weekends. I see you here late at night. You're always here in the city of Montebello, and I know that's a sacrifice that you make and that your family makes in letting us or in allowing us to have you here, have you present, and always on top of all the different events that we have here in our community. It truly means a lot in terms of the dedication that you give to the Montebello, and it shows the love that you have here for our residents and for our community. So I would like to present you with our Montebello Proclamation, Parks Make Life Better, to the man, the legend, Mr. David Sosnowski.
Okay, before moving forward with our oath of office for our traffic and safety commissioners, I do just want to acknowledge that this month is Juvenile Arthritis Awareness Month. Did you know that nearly 200,000 children and teens in America have been diagnosed with arthritis? That is why July is recognized as Juvenile Arthritis Awareness Month, or JA, which can affect children of all ages, races, and backgrounds, and is an umbrella term used to describe the many autoimmune and inflammatory diseases that can develop in children under the age of 16. This means the immune system, which is supposed to fight against foreign invaders like viruses and germs, gets confused and releases inflammatory chemicals that attack healthy cells and tissue. In most JA cases, this causes inflammation, swelling, and pain. Currently, there is no cure for juvenile arthritis, but early diagnosis can help relieve pain and improve a child's quality of life. Your voice adds to the strength of this fight by spreading the word in hopes of finding a cure and getting the right treatment. For all those watching or who would like to learn more about this, please visit arthritis.org for more information. Now, moving forward, we do have our last ceremonial presentation, and that is a proclamation. The oath of office for our traffic and safety commissioners, and that will be conducted by our city clerk, Mr. Jimenez.
Just ready, we can have the commissioners come up to the front. All right, very well. If you can please raise your right hand and you'll repeat after me. I state your name. Do solemnly swear that I will support and defend the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of the State of California against all enemies, foreign and domestic, that I will bear true faith and allegiance to the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of the State of California, that I take this obligation freely without any mental reservation or purpose of evasion, and that I will well and faithfully discharge the duties upon which I am about to enter. Congratulations, Commissioners. And if we can ask the family members that will be pinning the commissioners to come up, please. Awesome. Let's give it up one more time for our commissioners, traffic and safety. And will the council like to come up to get a group picture with the commissioners?
As we wrap up the ceremonial presentation, I would just like to recognize the chair of the Traffic and Safety Commissioner, Traffic and Safety Commission, Commissioner Vincent De La Roca, who is not able to be here this evening. I do just want to acknowledge all his efforts in terms of the advocacy that he has spearheaded here in the city of Montebello, from advocating and really pushing council to install the city's first bike racks here, not only at City Hall, but also throughout our parks and facilities, and also spearheading and really leading the advocacy by encouraging council to pursue in pursuing the city's first bicycle master plan, which we adopted earlier this year. Although he is not here today, I do just want to acknowledge our chair of the Traffic and Safety Commission's work and role within the city of Montebello. So that now takes us to, give me a moment. To staff communications on community of interest items. Mr. City Manager, are there any items this evening?
Yes, Mayor, we have a couple of items of community interest. The first one, Chief Espinosa will be presenting.
So coming up this August, it'll be our yearly National Night Out, August 6th, over at Henry Acuna Park from 6 to 9. So as usual, we have a lot of good things planned. We'll have several booths. We're going to have a petting zoo this year, which will be a great addition. We'll be doing our canine demonstration and display. We'll be flying one of our drones around. We'll be doing a mini bike helmet giveaway and a little mini bike obstacle course for kids. And we'll have a DJ and some good food out there as far as food trucks, and selling some hot dogs for $1. So please, we encourage everyone to come out if you're available. Thank you.
That's great. Next item is Mr. David Sosnowski.
Thank you, Mr. City Manager. Bear with me, a little cold here. This Saturday, July 27th, is our annual Downtown Street Fest from 3 to 10 p.m. on Whittier Boulevard between Montebello and 4th Street, featuring live vans, vendors, beer garden, food options, a kid zone, free parking and shuttles throughout the city, with many great live entertainment acts for your choice to enjoy, including the Smooth Sounds of Santana, Vilma Diaz y La Sonora, and the Wise Guys Big Band Machine, celebrating their 35th anniversary as the headliner. That's this Saturday, Downtown Street Fest on Whittier Boulevard from Montebello to 4th Street. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you very much for sharing the news on National Night Out, August 6th, 2024, from 6 to 9, and then our Street Fest, which is this Saturday coming up. Moving forward, we do have public comments on non-agenda items. Mr. City Attorney, can you please read the statement of oral communications for non-agenda items?
Certainly, Madam Mayor. The public comments on non-agenda items, the City Council sets aside 30 minutes for this initial period. At this time, the public may submit speaker cards to the City Clerk's staff for both agenda and non-agenda items prior to the beginning of the statement. Public hearing items do not require a speaker card. The City Council will address non-agenda items during this section, and speakers will be called in the order received. Those persons not accommodated during this 30-minute period will have an opportunity to speak under, quote, public comments continued, end quote, after all scheduled matters have been considered. Public hearing, regular business, and/or consent calendar items will be addressed at the time the matter of business is heard in the order received. Please be aware that the maximum time allotted for members of the public to speak shall not exceed 3 minutes per speaker. State law prohibits the City Council from taking action or entertaining extended discussion on a topic not listed on the agenda. Please show courtesy to others and direct all of your comments to the mayor and City Council. Thank you.
Okay, so moving forward with our public comments on non-agenda items. Thank you, Mr. City Clerk, for facilitating this portion.
First speaker is Joseph Sanchez, followed by Rosa Tamayo.
Good evening, Mayor. Good evening, Council. I basically just want to ask, I know the city attorney can't address me right now, but hopefully after I'm done, before the next person comes up, he could address it. At our last meeting, there was an individual who came up here. I didn't agree with him 100%, but he wasn't given his 3 minutes. He told he was given his 3 minutes. If you review the footage, he was given 1 minute and 58 seconds. So I'm just curious, when does the 3 minutes start? Does it start when I answer the podium? Does it start when my name is called? At one time, we used to have our names up there, like you do on that screen right there in front of us. So I'm just curious, when does it start? I know you can't answer right now, but when I walk away, you need the city attorney answer before you bring up the next person. Thank you.
Next speaker is Rosa Tamayo, followed by Raul Hurtado.
Buenas noches,
Good
Mayor
evening.
Scarlett Peralta, miembros del concilio. Yo soy Rosa Tamayo.
Good evening. My name is Rosa Tamayo.
Nomás quiero, perdón, quiero agradecer mucho por la atención tan rápida que tuvieron el team de los Fire Department.
I will want to thank a lot for the fire department team.
Ok. El 4 de julio tuvimos en la facilidad del 500 Sur Montebello Boulevard
On July 4, on 500 South Montebello Boulevard,
un incendio
we had a fire,
y ellos muy rápidamente atendieron el incendio
and they right away came and took care of the fire.
y con mucho problema porque estaban los cables de alta tensión
It was troublesome because there were the high voltage cords,
y la palma está muy cerca está pegada al techo del edificio.
the palm tree is very close to the roof.
Para mí fue muy intencional ese fire
To me, that fire was intentional
porque estuvo con un, como estos cohetes estuvieron como metidos en gasolina
because the firecrackers were mixed with
para que
gasoline
agarrara rápido el incendio.
to quickly start the fire.
También les quiero decir a ustedes
I also would like to tell you
que aunque están muy negativos a que no tengamos una subestación de policía en el sur de Montebello,
although you're very reluctant to have a substation in the city of Montebello,
es urgente tener una subestación
it's urgent to have a substation.
de la policía, porque
And
no
the
nomás los policías se van y se sientan, no, tienen que
Because
hacer reportes,
The police,
vigilar diferentes.
the police there, they don't just go and see it. They had to take care of reports.
Es mucho el trabajo que ellos hacen.
It's a lot of work that they end up doing.
Además, el Distrito 5 y el Distrito 4 al sur son afectados igual.
District number 5 and district number 4 are affected in the same way.
Hay mucho crimen ahorita.
Right now, there's a lot of crime there.
Y máxime, ahorita estamos en un problema muy grande con el problema de la construcción del metro.
Right now, we have a big problem with metro construction.
El otro problema que estamos mirando es que el recall que le hicieron a la concejal Angie Jiménez es ilegal. Ella nunca ha hecho.
Another thing too is the recall that is being done to Angie Jimenez. It's illegal.
Ella nunca ha hecho crimen municipal.
She hasn't committed any crime to the city or municipality.
Los que han hecho crímenes municipales son ustedes.
The ones that have committed municipal crimes are you.
Porque se puede mirar en las agendas los crímenes y las violaciones que han hecho.
Because the violations and crimes that have been done can be seen in the agenda.
Y además el Distrito 5 paga mucho tax por los negocios que tiene.
Besides, District number 5 pays a lot for the businesses that it has.
Y ustedes están fraudeando al gobierno
You are committing fraud to the government,
haciendo un recall ilegal
by doing an illegal
y
recall
no poniendo atención en la gente
and not paying attention to the people
que está pagando tanto tax.
who are paying a lot of taxes.
Y y el salario que el señor Raúl Álvarez está ganando se paga porque la concejal Angie Jiménez
Yeah,
también
the salary that is being paid to Raúl Alvarez is being paid because Angie Jiménez.
ese causa que ella está en ese distrito y usted como empleado
This causes
recibe el salario tan grande.
because she's in this district and you receive the big salary
y usted la ignora.
and you ignore her.
Y ustedes concejales
And you
también la
council-
ignoran.
you
Eso yo
coun-
me he dado cuenta.
And you council members also ignored her, and I have noticed that as well.
Pues tengan mucho cuidado porque
be
hay
cautious.
consecuencias. Gracias.
Next speaker is Raul Hurtado, followed by Bill Poliso.
Yeah, good afternoon. I'm here to talk about the same thing that I always talk about, my pre-person here.
Mr. Hurtado, do you want to get the mic a little closer? Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Thank you.
Like I said, I'm here to talk about again, the translator. At the last meeting you had, when you talked about the dog park, there was a gentleman that came in, he was all pro dog park. He got up here and spoke. When he was leaving the chambers, she yelled at him, "Are you gonna pick up the dog poo?" Without a translator, she managed to say that. I've asked you many times to stop the translation, not against him, but because of this, with the city pays for that translation. Now, maybe this will change your mind. Here, at the last city council, on the 12th of June, $345 for the translator. That's typical for 6 minutes. On the 6/20/24, Parks and Recreations had a meeting to talk about the dog park. She called in for a translator and she never showed. So you paid $345 for nothing. I really do believe that that should come out of her pocket for not being there. That's the second time that's happened in no show that you pay the translator. You know, I don't know how to explain it to you. I've told you the thousands of dollars that are used for the translator can be used in every one of your districts. You all know I'm right. Every one of you knows I'm right. And yet you refuse to do anything about it. The city manager refuses to do about it. The city council refuses to give direction to the city manager to do something about it. I've asked you many times with the thousands of dollars that she has spent for herself, you could do something in your district, a picnic bench or whatever. I went outside right now to take my pills, and I find the fountain is still broken from maybe 2 meetings ago. You could have used that money to replace that fountain for everybody. You know, I don't like to make threats, but when I know I'm right, I know I'm right. And all of you up there know I'm right also. And I'm really getting pretty tired of it, and I'm not gonna make threats because I believe there's a solution to everything. And this is the last time I will bring this subject up. But if the translator keeps coming and you keep spending that money, I'm gonna take an alternative solution. I don't understand why you don't understand this. That's our money. If you want to chip in and pay for it, that's fine. But that's our tax dollars' money. I'm really up to here with that. You guys need to do something about it. Thank you.
Next speaker is Bill Poliso, followed by Tila Gregorian.
Good evening. Tonight, I would like to address the number of times I've come to council meetings to speak about oversized vehicles being parked on city streets in South Montebello. I believe it's over 8 times, but until now, nothing's been done. I would like to thank the city manager, the mayor, and Councilman David Torres and city staff for helping getting new ordinance put on the books. What I want to be known, for the record, and to all District 5 representative, to all District 5, that my representative, Ms. Angie Jimenez, never once, and I mean never once, reached out to me with a call, a text, an email about my concerns. And you wonder why you're being recalled, Ms. Jimenez. Look in the mirror. I find it very disturbing that you've never reached out to discuss this issue. You completely ignored a District 5 residents because you don't like me. Let's make something very clear, Ms. Jimenez. You work for me. Not only me, but all the residents in District 5. Not a few or just the ones you like. You have totally failed as the District 5 representative. You as a council member are unprofessional, disrespectful, and basically a joke. You have attacked residents for speaking their opinion. You have called residents liars. Let me make one thing very clear to you, Ms. Jimenez. I will make sure every single voter in District 5 knows your voting record, along with how you've treated District 5 residents. So let me close with this, Ms. Jimenez, a gift for you. The number of signatures needed to qualify for the election was 1,388. Number of signatures filed was 2,700. Number of signatures verified, 2,700. Number of signatures found sufficient, 2,033. And I'd like to present a certificate tonight to Ms. Jimenez from the County Registrar's Office for your records. Could you please give that to her? Thank you very much.
Next speaker is Tila Gregorian, followed by Linda Nicholas.
Good evening, City Council members, city staff, and residents of Montebello. My name is Sheila Gregorian, and I'm here today very upset because our longtime worker, assistant manager, was fired. Her name was Arlene, and she was the function. She knew everything about this city. I don't know how you're going to manage without her, but she was the one that could assist everyone with everything. Why she was let go is beyond my understanding. She had been a very good employee all the years that she'd worked here, and I'm very sorry to hear that she was replaced so quickly. So I want our new city manager and his assistant to shine as bright as the sun, because I will be watching, and I have high expectations of your job. We had the best city manager that we had ever had in our city, as long as I've been participating in these council meetings, Renee Bombabilla, that Scarlett, got rid of, and he was the best one that we've ever had here. But one of our neighboring cities thanked us for allowing him to leave the city. So what's going on in our city? I mean, it used to be a fair employment place to work in. Now we're bringing in people that don't have a very good record. So who hires these people? Is the city council in charge of this last city manager that you hired? Because he got rid of Arlene and brought his own assistant. How is this possible that this is going on in our city? Arlene had been such a faithful, devoted employee to our city. Now, last time she was not here, and I thought she was maybe on vacation. She's entitled. And then I found out that she had got fired. Well, Mr. New City Manager, you better shine like the stars and the moon, I'm telling you, and even brighter, as bright as the sun, because I expect a lot from you and your new assistant. Thank you.
Next speaker is Linda Nicholas.
Excuse me, one more thing, and I'm sorry that I attended your gathering to get to know you. So sorry I attended. Thank you.
Linda Nicholas, followed by Adriana Dugan.
Good evening. My name is Linda Nicholas, co-founder of Match 90640. Scarlett, ma'am, can you read this from here? Because I know you wear glasses. Can you read this? If not, can you hand this to her, please? Ms. Deputy Clerk? I want you to very clearly read what it says. In case you don't read, Val, I know that you have a problem. We apologize for the inconvenience, but it is illegal for you to bring food and beverage on this course. Now, on July the 11th, you took an In-N-Out burger truck and gave only the people in District 1. So I called up the FPPC and I sent your flyer and they said, number one, use of city facilities. I don't care who has a lease, who's a leasee. That property belongs to us. Remember that, number one. Number two, your flyer didn't have who paid for it, although we all know who paid for it. The same guy that let you put the truck up there. But guess what? Look up who Donald Sterling is. He used to be the owner of the Clippers. When his wife divorced him, his mistress got taken for everything. The wife took everything back that he gave her. Look it up. Oh, and by the way, they're saying about how Angie voted. She's the only one that didn't vote for the 30-year contract. And that's why they would retaliate with the retaliation. And we all know who paid for the recall. Thank you.
Next speaker is Adriana Dugan, followed by Joella Valdez. Adriana. And followed by Adriana will be Joella Valdez.
It's been a long day. Good evening, Mayor Scarlett Peralta and council members. I'm actually here representing a couple of businesses that are located on the corner of Montebello Boulevard and Whittier, the two-story building. They've been having problems with homeless people, and the homeless people have been very, very aggressive. The business owners there stay there late, and when they go out to their cars, they've been approached. So I actually wanted to reach out to police chief and also the fire department, of course, just to see if we can assist them in their concerns. They're so concerned that they're looking maybe to move to a different location, and there's maybe like 4 businesses that have reached out to me already. And it's right on the corner, 821 Whittier Boulevard. Thank you so much, and they're very appreciative. Actually, every time they've called in, reports are taken and so forth, but they have concerns. You know, we have concerns, and we want to make sure that they're being taken care of. So thank you so much for all your hard work. Definitely. And then I would like to announce we have our State of the Nation. We appreciate your support, so if you can share that and make sure, let them know it's August 9th. We have it on our website. Seats are limited. We do our State of the Nation with Congresswoman Linda Sanchez with 10 other chambers. and we're hosting it this year. So we do take turns on hosting it, and we are hosting it at the Quiet Cannon. And it is August 9th at 12 o'clock. It's a luncheon. Thank you so much.
Next speaker is Joella Valdez, followed by Kea Urban.
The last time I was here to make public comment, I really upset Councilman David Torres, so much so that he abandoned a community event that we were going to be working on, the first Black History Month celebration. So at this time, I want to thank you, Councilman Angie Jimenez, Assistant City Manager Arlene, and City Manager Raul for helping us to celebrate Black History Month for the first time in the city of Montebello. I want to make comment tonight on Scarlett's grandstanding on protecting families last month in a council meeting. Families should be protected and they're off limits. I agree. My question is, why was that not off limits when it came to my family, when your mother and your boyfriend and your aunt and your family made jokes about a 2-year-old? I asked personally Councilman Torres to step in, and we had a conversation about it, but it wasn't really helpful. And you know, this grandstanding in general, I just want to bring to the public's attention, because you've brought no resources to the city. Instead, you've been a taker. Your, $13,000 installation party that was paid for by who? Did you bring resources into the city? What have you brought to the city? What is going to be your legacy? What is going to be all of your legacies? Self-interest, vendettas, using your position to enrich yourself, the interests of vendors instead of the citizens? You're prioritizing a dog park at the price of $600,000 instead of public safety. And it's very disingenuous to say that we don't have any public safety issues in the South when I came here and told you guys that there was an attempt home invasion on my house. When Mr. Jimenez on Beach Street comes here with his cane, like at least 3 or 4 times a year to beg for more police presence in the South. And now the South is being cut off, and you guys are just ignoring the fact of putting it on the budget to spite Angie. But Councilman Torres, CD4 also is extended past the railroad tracks. And you know what? For her and for CD4 and for CD5, I'll inherit that beef. And I want to see you guys push around someone you can't recall. I want to see you push around someone you cannot censor. I want to see you push around someone that you can't deny resources to. I want to see that. So what is going to be the legacy? The legacy is going to be granting a 30-year contract to a vendor. That's ridiculous. 30 years for any type of vendor is ridiculous, okay? The poor decisions we've made leading to countless litigation stemming from the harassment claims on the investigation on Councilman Torres, ousting a capable city manager. And what about striping? Why don't we have any striping on Montebello Boulevard where it turns into Greenwood? All those little cones, we're spending hundreds of thousands of dollars on striping a red zone, but we can't stripe the streets. Don't tell any lies, and I won't tell any truths about you.
Next speaker is Kea Urban.
Okay. Hello. My name is Kaya. I live in the 5th District, and I don't know how to start this thing off, but I came to the last meeting, and I was concerned about the whole substation being denied, and I thought it was kind of weird how, like, 2, 3, 4, 5, all you guys said no when she asked for it. And so, and this recall thing, too, is kind of fishy, too. So I just would hope that our safety is not in jeopardy because you guys want to, like, recall her and not give her what she is asking for when we want it. District 5 wants it, but you guys said no. So, and how is that over a dog park? I think it's very disingenuous. And I think the whole city is going to be looking at you guys now. And, oh, and another thing I want to bring up was the mental health thing. You said you wanted at least 1,000 participants in it before. And so if you brought it up and you feel responsible for it, then how come you're not getting people to sign up for it? Instead, you rather take it away, right? Remember that, the whole mental health program? Okay, so I think that's something that you should keep in. If you gave it to us, don't take it away from us, because like I'm sure there's a lot of people who don't even know about it before you take it away. And so like I hope we all get this together and figure out what's going on, because it doesn't seems kind of weird. And I'm not for the recall. The recall is, I think, loaded. I'll say that. It's loaded. And I think that's it. Thanks.
That concludes all speaker cards for non-agenda items.
Okay, moving forward, we do have a public hearing today, and that's item number 11, which is to introduce and waive the first reading of ordinance number 2478, amending chapter 10.68 of the City of Montebello Municipal Code regarding oversized vehicle parking. We do have a presentation today by our Assistant Director of Planning, Mr. Matthew Ramos. You have the floor. Thank you.
Good evening, Madam Mayor and members of the City Council. Matthew Ramos, Assistant Director of Planning and Community Development. Item number 11 before you tonight is a first reading of ordinance number 2478, amending chapter 10.68 of the Montebello Municipal Code regarding oversized vehicle parking. Why is this ordinance being brought forth tonight? This is due to the increase of complaints from the community regarding the number of oversized vehicles in the city. Some of those resident concerns include safety, aesthetics, as well as community well-being. In addition to that, City Council requested that staff review our ordinance and provide updates to that code. What are some of the issues caused by oversized vehicles in the city? They can cause traffic hazards by creating visual obstructions at driveways and intersections. They diminish parking availability on city streets, and they can also create public nuisances from abandoned vehicles. Our current municipal code has proven difficult to enforce and struggles to enforce some of those complexities that we have with oversized vehicles in the city. In reviewing our current ordinance and trying to figure out what changes would enhance our code for city staff, we came up with some options we felt would enhance our enforcement ability. Currently, our code states oversized vehicles are allowed but must be moved every 4 hours. What we are proposing is that all oversized vehicles require a permit. Unattached trailers are also an issue throughout the city. Our current code does not allow for any enforcement. What we're requesting is to prohibit any unattached trailer, which is a common ordinance in most of the cities that we reviewed. In addition to that, oversized vehicles on private property are also an issue that we want to address, trying to address this issue as holistically as possible. Some of the regulations related to that we're proposing are no parking on an unpaved surface. The vehicle needs to be operational, and it also needs to be owned by the resident. One of the issues that's kind of unique to the south end of the city, similar to unattached trailers, there's quite a few cargo containers that are left unattached in the city. We would like to restrict those just like we would restrict any kind of unattached trailer. Also, lastly, the enforcement option. Right now, our main enforcement option is strictly parking citations. What we would like to do is allow for more strict enforcement that would include citations as well as towing of any vehicles. In addressing the oversized vehicles ordinance, we also have to take a look at the permits that would be allowing residents to have in order to park a oversized vehicle on the street. We did look at other neighboring cities, including Commerce, Alhambra, and Lakewood. What we are proposing for the ordinance here and looking at those models is that the duration of a permit shall not exceed 72 hours. There'll be a maximum permit of 12 permits per calendar year. And we would allow one permit to be issued per calendar month. These permits would be issued by the Code Enforcement Division, and if we were to include any fees associated with that, the Finance Department would assist us with that. That concludes my presentation. I'm available for any questions or from council.
Thank you very much. I will go ahead and go down the road today. So, Councilmember Tamayo, do you have any questions?
No questions. I appreciate the staff report. I did read it. Thank you.
Okay. Councilmember Torres?
Thank you very much for the presentation. Thank you, Madam Mayor. I just want to quickly note and celebrate the efforts of Mr. Bill Paliso in advocating for his neighborhood and his community, and affecting the entire city. Mr. Paliso has been extremely diligent on, if not a monthly, almost a weekly basis, documenting oversized vehicles, commercial vehicles, RVs that are parked along residential streets and impacting the local community. From his advocacy and from conversations with my colleagues, we've seen these effects all across the city at our parks and in other residential areas. And for the last 5 years that I've been in office and having conversations about how do we address this, really it came down to the kind of teeth that we saw in our municipal code and code enforcement's ability to act beyond marking tires and having these individuals and some of these bad actors move their vehicle nominal amount of feet to comply, but still with this ultimately the same effect. So I can't remember exactly when I asked for this in my council orals. As we know, things like this do take a process. You do need to talk about it, get consent from your colleagues, do the research. But this has been a long time coming. And so, Mr. Paliso, I just want to applaud you for your efforts and for your diligence. Even as recently as this afternoon and yesterday, he was still saying, David, we got some problems here on the block. But hopefully, with this ordinance being enacted in 2 council meetings, once this 30-day period is expired, we can start to see some real change in our communities and reduce the impact of these commercial and oversized vehicles in our neighborhoods. And that's all, Madam Mayor.
Okay, thank you. Councilmember Torres, we have Mayor Pro Tem Melendez.
I have no comments, but just thank you for the presentation. I know this doesn't, this also impacts different districts throughout. I know specifically District 3, Rio del Sol, Ginian Way, there's a lot of RVs, oversized vehicles parked there. So definitely is a good ordinance to put all over the community. Thank you.
Okay, Councilmember Jimenez.
Thank you for all your work to the staff and team. And Mr. Paliso, yes, he used to send us tons of pictures in the past. However, people need to be made aware that while District 5 and District 4, District 2, District 1 didn't become actual districts until 2 years ago. And at some point, you have to remember that we do need 3 votes to get things done. But this is a beautiful piece of work on behalf of the staff, so I congratulate you and commend you all. Thank you.
Thank you. I do have a question and then a comment. So does this also cover the trailers that we sometimes or oftentimes see specifically at Ashia Park? We have them parked right parallel to the park that oftentimes blocks the view from park visitors, which can cause a dangerous situation when kids are trying to jaywalk or cross, or if a ball gets thrown into the street. It blocks the view of drivers coming through those streets, as well as just them parking overnight and oftentimes several times a day. Does this specific ordinance also cover that issue of oversized vehicles near our parks?
Yes, it would. It would require them to have a permit to park on the street.
Okay, that is just very incredible in terms of the work that you guys are doing. I know this has been a long time coming. I myself have received multiple, forms of communication from various residents in terms of oversized vehicles being parked in residential areas, being parked near our public facilities as well as parks. At one point, I even saw a trailer truck without the attachment, but a trailer truck parked in front of someone's lawn. and just the effects that that has and the impact that it has to the neighborhood is tremendous. You know, it makes our neighborhoods not look nice. It causes issues in terms of the noise, in terms of the pollution, and generally speaking, is just not something that should be allowed here in the city of Montebello. This is a really important ordinance in terms of starting to clean up our city, and so I do appreciate the work behind this. Thank you very much to our city manager for prioritizing this, as well as our public works staff, and looking at what are the best practices from other cities and incorporating those into this specific ordinance that meets the needs for our residents here in the city. This is, I think, a big win for our community in terms of, again, cleaning up our streets and no longer tolerating this type of behavior. And so with that, I will go ahead and ask for a motion to approve.
I'll motion.
Okay, motion by Councilmember Jimenez. Can I get a second?
Second.
Okay, second by Councilmember
what I was about to say.
Torres. Oh, I'm so sorry.
Yeah.
You're very right. Getting excited here over just incredible ordinance coming to the city of Montebello. This is a public hearing, so at this time, anyone wishing to speak about the item may address council. If there are any other speakers, you are welcome to come up. You can form a line if there are more than one speakers. Do we have any speakers? Okay, so at this time, at 8:02, I will go ahead and close the public. Yes.
Mayor.
Oh, we do have one. Okay. Thank you.
I apologize, it's not for this item, but I have a family emergency. Can I do have a speaker card for item 13. I'm so sorry. Thank you.
Thank you. So at this time, I will go ahead and close the public hearing at 8:02. This matter is now at the council level, which we did provide comments as well as questions. So seeing that we did have a motion by Councilmember Jimenez and a second by Councilmember Torres, Mr. City Clerk, may you please conduct roll call?
Councilmember Tamayo?
Aye.
Councilmember Torres? Mayor Pro Tem Melendez?
Aye.
Councilmember Jimenez?
Aye.
Mayor Peralta?
And I vote aye, and the item passes unanimously. Thank you very much to our Public Works staff and department for bringing this forward. Moving forward, we do have regular business, which leads us to item number 12, approved resolution number 2457, accepting the sufficiency of the recall petition, and approved resolution number 2459, requesting consolidation of the recall with the general municipal election to be held on November 5th, 2024. Do we have any public comments for this item?
Yes, Mayor, we do have a couple of speaker cards for this item.
Okay, please proceed.
First speaker is Richard Polanco, followed by Joella Valdez.
Good evening. My name is Richard Polanco. I had the honor of serving 16 years in the California legislature. I served my last 4 years as the Senate Majority Leader. I am the author of the California Voting Rights Act. It is the measure, the bill, the law that created this city's district's elections. I am here today to voice a lot of concern with regards to the signature gathering, a lot of concern with regards to the lack of information that has been denied by you, Mr. Alvarez. You provided a statement, redacted, which is a public form. You continue to disallow the involvement of a very dynamic woman of integrity. And this entire council has been part of it. There is a systematic conduct that is taking place here. The elimination and termination of strong women, 2 African-American women, highly qualified, more years of experience, only to be retained by those who had been terminated with cause. But it didn't stop there. You end up filing a complaint against the councilwoman. You work for the council. It's not the other way around. And you did so to prevent her from continuing to bring up and question, most recently, the very able assistant city manager, Arlene, who has now been placed on administrative leave. This is not a good legacy for you to leave. And it didn't stop there. You terminated your public affairs director, the only Asian. I am very, very concerned with the fact that there are paid circulators, and yet there is not disclosure. I am going on record today to say that those petitions, those that have been signed, not be destroyed. The city, according to the state auditor general or the state auditor, continues to be high risk. And if you continue to operate in the way you are operating, you will find yourself in a lot more legal issues, and the taxpayers of Montebello do not deserve this.
Thank you,
They
Mr.
deserve the
Polanco.
best, and you have denied him.
Next speaker is Joella Valdez, followed by Linda Nicholas.
Tonight, I want to let you guys know that I'm not surprised about this recall. As Mr. Polanco said, this city has systematically worked to get rid of anyone who does not align with the agenda and the corruption that has been happening these past few years. And you can shape the story how you want to, Scarlett, but the residents are not dumb. I've spoken with both residents and paid canvassers that were collecting signatures, and they were misled about a lot of the facts on those flyers. Councilman Torres and I had once a conversation, and he mentioned that when you look at the voting record, a lot of the 5 council members, about what, 80, 90% of the time, you guys vote the same, right? Or you guys vote in unison. And it's just clear, it's very clear that this recall is in retaliation for Councilmember Jimenez not going along with some of your votes and for defending a protected class of employees here in the city of Montebello. This recall is subjective, and it's not based on any real facts other than personal agendas. We saw an investigation that was done on Councilman Torres, where several city employees filed harassment claims, and that did not result into a recall. Why didn't it result into a recall? Because we need our council member. We need you to do your job. Just like we need this council member to do her job in the district, especially now that we are in districts. You guys don't care about all of Montebello. You care about who can vote for you, who could keep you in power, who can keep that seat so you can keep going shopping, so you can pay your mortgage, so you can do all of those things that you weren't able to do before you got this seat when you were unemployed. So that's my comment tonight.
Next speaker is Linda Nicholas, followed by Tila Gregorian. Linda Nicholas, followed by Tila Gregorian.
Again, Linda Nicholas, match 90640. And there's some people that find it very funny to make fun of us. But I remember when I used to come up here and tell the consul, don't be doing what you're doing. What you're doing is illegal. And they kept saying, oh, don't believe the rumors. Don't believe her. Well, guess what? The state auditors came into this city and they made a 54-page report that Torres used to get elected. Remember? That was on me, our founding group. And guess what? Match has a very good reputation with the state auditor's office. I've got a number that I can call anytime I want. And guess what? you guys are going to be put on the naughty list because not only did you give out a 30-year contract, it was illegal. And the Attorney General is looking into this recall because it's retaliation. And you have committed so many frauds. They have a special file for you at the FPPC. And when you get hit, well, I know you have somebody that'll pay your fines, but nonetheless, it'll be public. And like she said, you don't have to worry about paying your mortgage. You didn't have a job when you got the condo. Everybody knows you committed mortgage fraud, a federal offense. Like I said before, I don't come up here to blow just hot air. When I say something, things happen. You watch. It's not over yet.
Next speaker is Tila Gregorian, followed by Rosalio Munoz.
Sheila Gregorian once again. It seems to be not a good day for a meeting today. It's this petition that's going around to recall Angie Jimenez is really a farce, one big farce. It's probably because she voted against the contract that our big man on the Hill wants to take control of the country club. And I urge you to think about it and be aware that's exactly what he did with Alhambra. Now he has his son running the Alhambra, whatever that, what is it called? It's not the court, thank you. So is this what you want for Montebello? And he is just not, he's got too much power in the city. And I know, Scarlett, I personally saw you up there one time during the week. I was there for business, and I wondered what you were doing there. You were there by yourself. You didn't have any other council members with you. So then I thought, I wonder what she's up to. So now I know. Thank you.
Next speaker is Rosalio Munoz.
One comment on Spanish speaking. It's Rosalio, but I didn't put the accent on it. I want to follow up on some of the things raised by our honorable former leader in the state Senate. I'm very concerned about the money spent in getting those signatures and the language sent on doing that and the validity of those signatures and of the literature that money was spent on and what they said and the truth of those things. And then what may be, well, in terms of this particular thing, not just the recall itself, but to put the vote in the general election on November 5th. Will we have this money that was spent, will we be able to look at that well before November 5th? And then number two, what are the plans should the recall pass for another election? And who's going to pay for it? And how much is that going to cost? People should know those kinds of things when they vote on these kind of matters. And Angie is one of the most wonderful people serving the public in this county. I know her personally from church and from an organization called clue, Clergy and Laity United for Economic Justice, where Angie did quite a lot of work working on one of the most serious economic problems in this nation, the wages of people, especially the lowest paid wages. And you know what the lowest paid group of people in this country is? It's Hispanic women, Latino women. 57 cents on the dollar made by a man. And that's not, it's a little bit, not quite that low, but for the same educational level, it's that kind of a differential. And Angie has been putting in so much time. She's wearing the shirt of Local 11 of the hospitality workers, Unite Here, which has been campaigning all across this country. Oh boy, I get a bell. I haven't heard that yet, so I'll cut short there. But I just want to say another thing in Spanish, todo se paga.
That concludes all speaker cards for this item.
Okay, so moving forward with this item, is there a presentation?
Yes, Mayor, council members, I'll speak on this item. As mentioned before, item number 12 pertains to a recall petition that was received against Councilmember Angie Jimenez. For background, on April 29, 2024, a notice of intention to circulate petition was filed with the city clerk's office, with our city clerk's office. At that time, Councilmember Jimenez was notified of this petition and was given the opportunity to respond to this petition, and she did not respond. On May 27, the form of the petition was determined to meet the statutory requirement, thus allowing for the proponents to begin gathering signatures. The Secretary of State's Handbook, Procedures for Recalling State and Local Officials, and Elections Code Section 11221, subsection A, subsection 2, state number of required signatures must be equal in number to not less than the following % of registered voters in the electoral jurisdiction, meaning 25% if voter registration is less than 10,000, but at least 1,000 voters. According to the report of registration filed with the Secretary of State, District 5 has 5,553 registered voters, and thus 1,388 verified signatures were required in order to place this question on a ballot. Per Elections Code 11220, subsection A, subsection 3, 90 days were provided to collect the signatures, which is a statutory time frame if the electoral jurisdiction has less than 10,000 registered voters, but at least 5,000. On July 2nd, 2024, the petition was filed with the city clerk's office in accordance with election codes 11220 and 11221, subsection A, subsection 2. The city clerk completed a prima facie review of signatures and identified 2,704 unverified signatures. Pursuant to Election Code Sections 11224, the County Elections Office examined the petition and from the records of the voter registration ascertained that the petition was signed by the requisite number of voters. The County Elections Office submitted the results of their examination and verification of signature to the City Clerk's Office on July 18th, 2024. Per Elections Code Section 11227, the certificate of sufficiency is submitted to the City Council for acceptance. In total, 2,023 sufficient signatures were received. Pursuant to Elections Code Sections 11224 and 11225, the County Elections Office has examined the petition and ascertained that it was signed by the requisite number of voters. Upon finding the petition sufficient, the County Elections Office provided the results, as mentioned, on July 18, 2024. The City Council must now accept the certificate of sufficiency as provided by the Elections Code Section 11240 and approve the attached resolution. The election must be held no less than 88 days and no more than 125 days after the issuance of the order. If the City Council does not act within 14 days as specified, Elections Code Sections 11241 stipulates that the county election official must, within 5 days, set the date for the election. The next general election in the city of Montebello is set to be held on Tuesday, November 5th, 2024. As it relates to this recall process, time is of the essence for the recall election to be duly consolidated with the general election. Should the city council fail to act in a timely manner, the recall election will have to proceed and schedule for a special election to be no earlier than 88 days and no later than 125 days following the acceptance. Alternatively, the city has the option of not approving the resolution, in which case the city failed to call for a special election within the 14 days, and the County of Los Angeles would have to call election within the next 5 days. In summary, the Los Angeles County Clerk Register Recorder's Elections Office has completed its review of the petition of recall for Councilmember Angie Jimenez and provided information of certificate of sufficiency, confirming that the petition was signed by the requisite number of voters. As required by Election Code Section 11240, at tonight's regular city council meeting, the city clerk will present the certificate of sufficiency for the city council acceptance. As required again by Elections Code Section 11240, the city council must act within 14 days of this meeting and call an election and issue an order stating that the election shall be held to determine whether or not city council member Angie Jimenez shall be recalled. The call for an election can be done at this time as prescribed in the election code. At this time, we would recommend approving items 1 through 4 as recommended. Approve resolution number 2457, accepting the certificate of sufficiency of signatures on the petition to recall Councilmember Angie Jimenez. And secondly, approve resolution 2458, calling for holding of a general municipal election to be held on Tuesday, November 5th, 2024, for submission of the question of the recall of Angie Jimenez. And third, approve resolution number 2459, requesting the Board of Supervisors of County of Los Angeles to consolidate the recall election with the general municipal election to be held on Tuesday, November 5th, 2024, and take such additional related action that may be deserved. Thank you. Happy to answer any questions.
Okay, thank you. I'll go ahead and bring it up to council level. Going down the line, if there are any questions, we do have Councilmember Tamayo.
No questions.
Okay, Councilmember Torres.
No questions.
Okay, Mayor Pro Tem Melendez.
No questions.
Okay, Councilmember Jimenez.
I do have a question. On July 18th, Raul, when were those signatures submitted? Because I noticed that we didn't receive our agenda as we normally do on Thursday evening.
The certificate was received that day. The agenda was posted that day. As you may be aware, that's the same day that we had the major, basically computers went down worldwide. The agenda was posted as normal. Unfortunately, as it went down, it didn't allow us to be viewed as public. But the agenda was posted as normal on a Thursday, including the certificate of sufficiency.
At what time was the agenda posted?
We posted on Thursday. I mean, we would have to check the timestamp on the
I would
website.
like to check the timestamp on that, including everything, the certificate that was submitted, because I find it very interesting that we, the council, didn't get an email just notifying us the reason why we didn't get the agenda on Thursday evening when we normally do. Just happened to disappear or didn't come in. You never let us know. You never notified us that that the system was down.
Again, council member, worldwide system failure of all, basically anything that had to do with Microsoft.
You
So
have a
we had nothing
responsibility to
do
follow up with an email notifying, just the way I've asked you for several things, Ro, when there's a change in anything that we are used to having readily available to us. I think it's important that, again, maybe perhaps you talked to some of my colleagues and you notified them personally, but I even asked Councilmember Melendez earlier if he got the agenda. He said no, and I don't think he had a clue or an idea as to why we didn't. Did he, Sal? No, okay. So I would like to see the timestamp on that before we proceed.
We're happy to look at it, but it's actually irrelevant. We have to post the agenda within 72 hours. Posting on Thursday is sufficiently ahead of the 72-hour deadline. So
I understand that it was posted on Thursday evening, Ro. I'm asking you when it was posted. What time? And what time you timestamped those items? So just to be clear, Yes, back in February, on February 14th, there was an item on the agenda to approve the contract to Mr. Brad Perrin's management of the facilities on the golf course. This is a sweetheart deal that unfortunately he's had for many years, as it was grandfathered in since his father was here in the late 60s, early 70s. However, something that was included in that, in those agreements was it's basically giving away property that is not ours, that we haven't yet attained. And I know that the city attorney made you aware of that, Mr. City Manager, and I know that Mr. Palumbi and a lot of the directors here have been made aware of these issues in the past. However, you felt that it was important for us to approve those agreements because we were trying to get the food and beverage license, which Mr. Brad Perrin was holding over our heads. And I set this out and clear in that one council meeting. He was extorting us, and you allowed him to extort us. Because in order for him to give us that to sign the right over the food and beverage license, in order for Topgolf to operate, he wanted those agreements signed in violation of the Surplus Land Act. There's a lot of violations, and I'm not going to go down the list of them, but this is how this all started. Because 2 weeks after that happened, I got a text message from a resident letting me know that Mr. Brad Perrin and former council member Mayor Cristina Cortez were threatening to recall me. Now, Mr. Pelosi likes to grandstand, and he likes to share that he's the one that got this done. Yes, he was actually Scarlett Peralta's guest at Topgolf where I was served. So there are several reasons which lead me to believe that my colleagues, David Torres and Scarlett Peralta, I'm not sure about Georgina, are behind this, because about a month ago when I was trying to have a meeting at Holyfield Park with my community, they showed up trying to intimidate my residents. They set up a canopy just a few feet from where we were standing for when I was talking to my constituents. And they came and started distributing information. They violated the Brown Act. This is an FPC violation. And you know that you both went there wearing your city shirts. I don't understand why, and what the purpose was really for trying to communicate, talk to my residents about what I was already talking to them about. That is a Brown Act violation. Furthermore, we had Senator Polanco present, and David, you basically harassed Senator Polanco. Mr. Pelosi was also there, which again leads me to believe that yes, you're all working together behind this recall. Because I don't think that Mr. Pelosi, with his job, can afford to pay for the recall. So it's very clear that Mr. Brad Perrin and Cristina Cortez are the ones that are behind this. This is big money, so it's a big developer. So this is a wasteful and vindictive recall that is being led by local business owners and developers that are trying to silence, and they continue to mislead our community. They came out there with lies of harassment. Mr. Rosalio Munoz is right here. He and I have been arrested before, as we have stood up against the injustice against workers for years. Arrested as part of a civil disobedience act. Very peaceful demonstrations. So I am the last person that would ever harass an employee. I am the last person that would ever do any such thing to any person. And all of my directors have always known for a very long time that I have always stood up, and I have always stood for a better work environment. Now, they went ahead and collected these signatures. They lied to people. I had people walking down on my street. It was a little ridiculous, but you know, again, it's these big developers, the big developer, the guy, Mr. Brad Perrin, who extorted us on February 14th. Nobody was paying attention. You should pull up those agreements and what they really say and what they really stand for. Now, it is most of you that are here, I think, understand that back in 2018, the city was being audited. Now, it's unfortunate, Mr. Rowe, that you have not yet shared with us that the auditors are back in, that you received a document on July 1st letting us know that they're back here. So you want to talk about transparency, and you want to recall me because, you know, Mr. Poliso, you didn't get this item on the agenda before. No, you have to understand that all I've ever done is tried to make sure that our employees have a safe work environment, because this is the way we keep our city growing. This is the way we keep our city flourishing. We reward our good employees. They work better. We hire professional, highly skilled employees, not put women on administrative leave, because that is what you have repeatedly done since you got here, bro. I would love to see how many vacancies we currently have in the city. So tonight, we have this item on the agenda because, again, somebody was paying somebody. Somebody is definitely hiding money, because in the first initial report, there's nothing to be reported, but we did talk to some canvassers and we know that they were getting paid. And again, I would like to see that timestamp for the record. We don't need to see the signatures anymore.
Okay, so moving forward with this item, may I please receive a motion?
Motion?
Okay, can I receive a second?
Second.
Wait, but before I vote second, can you be clear on the motion?
Motion to approve the item?
So there's three, the recommendation has three different actions. There's action number 1, 2, and 3, approve resolution number 2457. And number 2 is approve resolution 2458. And number 3 is approve resolution 2459. So is that your motion?
Correct.
Okay.
Okay, Mr. City Clerk, if we may please do roll call.
Councilmember Tamayo?
Aye.
Councilmember Torres?
Aye.
Mayor Pro Tem Melendez?
Aye.
Councilmember Jimenez?
No.
Mayor Peralta?
And I vote aye. That concludes item number 11. Moving forward, we do have regular business. Oh, I'm so sorry, item number 12. Moving forward, we do have item number 13, which is approved resolution number 2453, adopting the July 2024, July 2027 Economic Prosperity Action Plan. We do have a presentation by our Economic Development Manager, Mr. Jose Gardea. You have the floor. Thank you very much.
Let me first test the equipment here. Okay. I know last year, council members, I came to you with a framework for this plan, and I think I brought you 30 slides. I do apologize again for that. And this time I only have 14 for you, so I hope we can go through this quickly. Jose Gardea, Economic Development Manager for the City of Montebello. Madam Mayor, council members, and City Manager Alvarez, thank you again for the opportunity to return to this body to present the Economic Prosperity Action Plan. As you will recall, last year we started together a dialogue to develop a pathway for the city's economic development activity in light of the new citywide general plan and the downtown Montebello specific plan. Now that we've approved the general plan and specific plan, I think it's appropriate for us to give some economic direction to our collective vision of a Montebello that is vibrant, healthy, safe, and prosperous. The Economic Prosperity Action Plan, I believe, begins to give implementation guidance to this collective vision. This plan does not stand alone. It stands in solidarity with the general plan, the specific plan, and hopefully a future transit-oriented development district for the future light rail system. You've heard me say in the past that economic development is the connective tissue within the city family that ties together all aspects of city building. I hope you see that theme in this action plan. I do want to take this moment to thank the tireless efforts given to this process by the members of the Montebello Chamber of Commerce Economic Development Committee. They were engaged thought partners and are thoughtful practitioners of economic visioning in their respective businesses. I also want to thank Adriana Dugan for her leadership on behalf of the Montebello Chamber of Commerce. As all of you know, Adriana is a strong advocate for the business community and for the city of Montebello. And by the way, I do want to also thank Alex Gilman, our wonderful PIO, for assisting and laying out the format of this report as well. So thank you, Alex. I want to stress that this presentation tonight is not the end of a process, but a continuation of a dialogue that was started with the visioning exercises related to the general plan and specific plan. We fully expect to continue to engage with the community on the specific action items outlined in the report. There we go. See, it's a little small up there. For tonight's presentation, please allow me to begin with some context for the plan. On the screen, I've listed 5 citations that illuminate some of the challenges that all local economies typically encounter in some fashion within their local economies. Let me quickly read them. Let's see, the first one is, according to the American Booksellers Association, in 2021 alone, the movement of dollars to Amazon and away from local retailers displaced 136,000 small shops, occupying at least 1.1 billion square feet of traditional commercial space. That's a big, big problem for all cities. Another citation, according to CoStar, over 2/3 of retail leasing activity in the country is for spaces less than 5,000 square feet. Why is that important for us? We have a lot of space in the city under 5,000 square feet. On the topic of housing, in 2022, nearly 25% of all multifamily units started in the country, that's about 132,000, were commenced by just 25 developers. That's according to the National Multifamily Housing Council. That's an important thing to understand, right? Because we assume there's a lot of developers in the country, but there really isn't. It's actually a very small world. And by the way, the challenges we talked about last year as it relates to housing, affordable housing development, still stand. High interest rates, the high cost of materials, the high cost of land. Those are very real issues as well. Finding the right fit between developer and opportunity is a very challenging process. The last two I wanted to share with you because last year, the LAEDC, the LA Economic Development Corporation, conducted a very, in my opinion, a very, very strong and deep analysis on small businesses and workforce development here in the county. And the last 2 citations speak to that. The first one says, small businesses continue to face barriers in connecting to educational institutions and work-based learning programs. Building partnerships between schools and small companies could increase hiring and internship opportunities. Again, that's as it relates to workforce development. The second quote from that very good report says, beyond capital, small businesses need wide-ranging technical assistance on business operations, financial management, and digital skills. Beyond capital. We'll come back to that topic, but that's a very important piece of this conversation. To create further context and to reference the new general plan, I want to highlight 3 specific points that the economic development element of the general plan makes. The economic development element addresses economic growth by a set of framework policies that govern local decisions. It's expected that such policies will create a climate where business and innovation will flourish. The general plan also supports conditions to attract visitors and resources to our city, as well as supporting initiatives that provide residents with a diverse set of options for shopping and recreation. So that brings together the general plan, the specific plan, and hopefully this action plan before you. A key aspect of the plan, as we discussed a year ago, is to establish a very strong mission statement and a set of guiding principles. The mission statement, I believe, that you see up there, stresses the importance of setting a large stage for stakeholders to work together with the city family to enhance quality of life. The forward thrust of each of these guiding principles, invest, build, create, advance, reinforces that shared vision of the general plan and other planning initiatives. Last year, during my plan framework presentation, I suggested that we have many reasons to celebrate several citywide accomplishments. For example, since last year, we've approved the general plan, or you have approved the general plan and the downtown specific plan, as well as the opening of Topgolf. As you can see on this slide, the list of programs, projects, and policies identified in the report is strong. The main reason to highlight this list is to recognize that each line item can support and leverage each other for the general benefit of local neighborhoods and communities. That's why I put them in a circle, because they feed each other, they support each other, they leverage each other. Each opportunity I identify in the action plan contributes to a greater collective value for the city. As we move forward in implementing the action items in the plan, we want to fully understand where we stand today in the city. To do so, the plan incorporates the demographics listed on this slide. We believe the indicators listed up there will have the most likely nimbleness to demonstrate any possible movement over the next 3 years. The city's social, economic, and housing initiatives and policies over the coming years will hopefully lend credence to this assumption. By the way, I do want to point something out. We made a slight change to one of the indicators up there. The amended value for the home value indicator, we adjusted to $746,000. In the report, I think it's slightly more than that. We did this change, members, because we wanted to be consistent with the numbers we gave HUD within the action plan that we recently submitted. So I want to make sure that we make clear that small change. This next slide is a report, if you can read it, that most of you have already seen. This is the Placer Visitation Report that you reviewed during our visit to the ICSC conference earlier this year. In the report, we're going to be able to track the visitations of specific commercial zones that we've designated for easier tracking on a monthly basis. The commercial zones include, and we'll start at the top of the list, the shops at Montebello, Beverly East Corridor, which is roughly Beverly Boulevard east of Wilcox Avenue, okay? The Montebello Mixed Shopping Center, the Montebello Town Square, the Whittier Boulevard West Corridor, which is basically the area west of our downtown, downtown Montebello, which is the specific plan area, Beverly West, which is Beverly, again, west of Wilcox. I included our new golf club and Topgolf, and finally Washington Boulevard, the Washington Boulevard corridor. What you see on the screen is the June report that shows relatively healthy growth in visitors month over month. As you can well imagine, the Topgolf facility is doing well. The shops at Montebello obviously perform very well as well. Our department will generate this report on a monthly basis, and then we'll share it with you every month so you can see for yourself and track the visitors across these zones. And by the way, the zones are not written in stone. If you want to see any changes to it, want to include others, we can absolutely do that without a problem. Okay, let's get into the areas of action that we started to discuss last year. We've identified the 4 areas that we believe contribute to implementing the shared vision of a vibrant, healthy, safe, and prosperous Montebello. The 4 areas are catalytic development opportunities, public infrastructure investment, placemaking initiatives, and business entrepreneur workforce support. As previously mentioned, catalytic development opportunities are projects or locations that have the potential to jumpstart new development while having a transformative impact on the use of that space. Typically, they involve the need for land assemblage and typically a strong public-private partnership. In the plan, we identified 4 zones where we should explore catalytic development opportunities. The areas are the downtown Montebello specific plan, especially the city-owned parcels near Whittier Boulevard and Montebello, and the intersection of Bluff and First and Whittier Boulevard, where we already have had some preliminary discussions with a couple of property owners to reimagine their large parcels. And if you remember the specific plan, those 2 areas are important because they are the sort of the red zones within the specific plan where your highest density would be allowed. So very important to have those within your work program. A second zone is the Beverly Boulevard corridor, and specifically the DMV-owned parcel at Wilcox and Beverly. Not the entire thing, but they have an acre, about an acre and 2 parcels separate from the main parcel, as well as the multiple parcels owned by the Adventist Health Group along the eastern end of the corridor. We hope to encourage, as we get deeper into the reimagining exercise, we hope to encourage the hospital administrators to view the redevelopment of their parcels through the lens of a medical community wellness development vision that maximizes medical, retail, housing, and job creation opportunities. Because of that sort of initial conversation with the hospital and their desire to explore their development opportunity, there already are other property owners along the same corridor that we've already engaged with to discuss future development potential. So that catalytic effect has already started along Beverly Boulevard. A third zone revolves around the commercial power centers situated along the Pomona Freeway. Owners of the shopping center across from the renovated golf course have expressed an interest in engaging a redevelopment vision for the property. In case you don't know, there's 13 property owners in that one shopping center, so it's a tough climb. Several new retailers, as a matter of fact, have also expressed an interest in being along this freeway corridor and near the Topgolf facility. Many retailers want to be near Topgolf for obvious reasons. When you get 61,000 visitors a month, you want to be nearby. So we can discuss that further. The fourth zone is along the future Washington Boulevard transit-oriented development district, and in particular, the intersection of Washington and Greenwood. Staff has been in contact with a couple of property owners within this zone to discuss possible redevelopment opportunities. In this section alone, there are about 16 specific action items related to this section of the plan. The second area of action pertains to the city's public infrastructure investment opportunities. There are 5 different initiatives recommended within this area of action, but let me just focus on 2 of them for the sake of time. The first one we've shared with you before, the Rio Hondo Recreation Zone Initiative, is an exciting opportunity to create, at least on a seasonal basis, open and recreational space for our residents. For our local economy, the project represents an opportunity to attract visitors to our downtown area. Several of the Chamber's Economic Development Committee members have already expressed some exciting placemaking ideas for the activated spaces along the waterway. Our city family has already met multiple times with the County of Los Angeles to secure their willingness to participate in the feasibility study. And the Rivers and Mountains Conservancy has committed to being a partner in this effort. I do want to thank the leadership of City Manager Alvarez, David Sosnowski, and Director Palumbi. They've been amazing partners and leaders of the conversation, so I want to thank them all for what they've done thus far. A second initiative that I wanted to highlight revolves around creating a series of mobility hubs along the Montebello Boulevard corridor to connect the future light rail system with the various housing clusters that will emerge along the Washington Boulevard TOD corridor, the downtown Montebello specific plan, the future Adventist Health redevelopment campus, and new housing in and around the shops at Montebello. In short, mobility hubs would integrate a variety of mobility options into its design, including vehicle, bicycle, ride sharing, and pedestrian amenities. The key action item for this effort is to conduct a feasibility study to better understand a pathway to move forward. In this section alone, there's about 16 specific action items pertaining to the various initiatives. The third area of action, placemaking initiatives, got quite a bit of discussion in the committee meetings. As you know, placemaking activities play a critical role in the revitalization of communities and local downtown in particular. Placemaking seeks to improve neighborhoods and cities by creating spaces and experiences where people can thrive and build social connections, and as a result, strengthen community identity and quality of life. As an economic development activity, placemaking initiatives must ensure participation by cross-sector partners, pursue a place-based orientation, and elevate arts and culture as signature opportunities to bring together public spaces, equity, and sustainability. For this area of action, the report recommends three main projects. One is the creation of a placemaking citywide policy to institutionalize the various facets of placemaking, such as permitting processes, funding, community engagement strategies, something very important, parking, what I call parking templates, and other elements. Critical to this effort is the creation of a placemaking working group that would be tasked with designing this placemaking policy. The working group can be composed of city family and stakeholders from different fields and sectors of the community. The only thing we ask is that whoever participates in this working group appreciates the benefits of placemaking. A second project within this section is an activation program for Whittier Boulevard that will include streetscape and signage improvements, a marketing branding campaign, as well as a shop local program, among other things, which you'll see in the report and outlined in the report. The third project is an arts and culture campaign that includes an effort to restore the old Vogue Theater into a community-based cultural space to complement the future public plaza that's called out in the downtown Montebello specific plan. This area of action alone has 20 specific action items, some of which are already underway. Last one, the fourth area of action involves supporting our business, entrepreneur, and workforce development communities. As economic development tools, the three sectors cross-pollinate each other by leveraging and sharing sources of funding, technical assistance, and other resources. In supporting the three sectors, the city can engender a grow from within strategy that highlights the role of local entrepreneurs and a skilled workforce to drive economic growth without displacing, I'll say that again, without displacing our existing business community. There are many action items in this section, but some highlights that I want to bring up is creating a Welcome to Montebello program, which is something that I know Adriana at the Chamber has been discussing for quite some time, to again invite and welcome new businesses. The expansion of our commercial facade program, expanding that citywide, making sure that everybody in the city has that opportunity, and developing an annual business needs assessment survey to track and monitor any specific needs or concerns of the business community. For entrepreneurs, the report strongly recommends the creation of a capital startup fund in the form of loans or grants to support existing and new entrepreneurs with business startup cost. Can't tell you enough how important that is. Show me an area that has a vibrant business community, and I'll show you a city or a county that's participated directly in supporting financially that growth mechanism. Very important piece for this 3-year program. Another notable action item to support entrepreneurs is to create a pilot pop-up lease program that would connect entrepreneurs with landlords willing to commit to short-term leases. City staff is currently in discussions with at least one landlord already downtown to introduce this approach to business support. And we actually already have a pop-up vendor prepared to move into this space if we can bridge the two together. Let me just briefly talk about workforce development. City staff looks forward to working with the county's new AJCC operator that begins operations in October of this year. With the new AJCC partner, city staff will have the ability to engage in a more strategic way all topics related to workforce conditions. A key objective of this upcoming relationship will be to establish stronger lines of communication between job training providers, local educational institutions and schools, and we have some terrific programs here in the city staff, and local employers. As such, one very important action item within the report involves creating a workforce working group made up of job trainers, schools, businesses, to assess ongoing training and employment needs and opportunities for local residents. So within this section, there's about 18 specific action items. I wanted to highlight funding sources as we did a year ago. The report contains funding sources section that identifies a variety of funding opportunities in the economic and community development space. The report identifies 24 different funding programs and sources. But let me just highlight 2 of these sources, and I think you can see them up there in yellow. As you may know, SCAG earlier this year approved the allocation of a grant to the city for the Enhanced Infrastructure Financing District feasibility study to study the feasibility of establishing a tax increment financing program for the 3 commercial corridors where density is due to increase in the coming decades. The study phase for this grant will likely take about 8 months and involve strong community engagement. You may have heard that with the state budget crisis earlier this year, that money was actually put on pause. So we were all very nervous, wondering what would happen. But we heard a few days ago that that money has been fully restored. And if we are willing to accept it, the money is there for us to conduct this study. I also wanted to highlight our work with the Rivers and Mountains Conservancy to secure an agency grant, again, to conduct this feasibility study for the Rio Hondo recreation zone concept. Once approved, this grant will fund the analysis of the concept and identify all engineering, community engagement, and budgetary issues that will arise for that project. So of the 24 listed, and I'm sure there's a few more sources, but 2 of those have already played a very important part in implementing some of these pieces. Madam Mayor, council members, we are recommending 3 next steps. One, if the plan is to be approved tonight, we will develop individualized work programs for most of the action items listed in the report to fully flush out all the implementation issues that may arise. Second, we'll establish a draft timeframe and budget for those action items that will require this task. And third, we will continue to identify additional opportunities for community engagement for the report and the respective action items. As I stated earlier, this is a continuation of a dialogue. It's not the end. I want to thank you all for your attention tonight and for your commitment to a community-based economic development model that will enhance our neighborhoods, protect our residents, and build collective prosperity. Thank you very much. Questions and answers, if there are any. Thank you for your time.
Thank you so much, Mr. Gardea. Going down, bringing it to council level and going down roll call. Councilmember Tamayo? Oh, actually, did we have any public comments for this item?
No, Mayor, we did just have one speaker card, which was Adriana Dugan, couldn't stay, but she did submit a letter of support and also thanking the team that worked on this.
Okay, thank you. Councilmember Tamayo?
There was a speak. Barney, did you submit a card? Oh, okay.
With the support of my colleagues, I would like to make an exception and allow Mr. Barney Santos with Boulevard Market an opportunity to address the City Council on this item. If I can please, just if that's okay with my colleagues, kind of looking down the line. Yeah, okay. If we can please have Mr. Santos provide his comment.
Thank you so much for letting me speak today. Apologize for being so informal. I was coming from somewhere else. I just want to, lend my support 100% to this report. I'm on the actual Economic Development Committee with the Chamber of Commerce, with Nathan and, Angry Horse, a lot of other small business owners, and, people who have vested interest in making sure that the city prospers economically. Jose, we watched Jose work on this report for almost a year now, and he did an elaborate job. We really truly believe that the entire city of Montebello has such high potential, especially with these main corridors. And I think this report is very thorough, very, just it touches on so many different aspects from entrepreneurship, from retail development, from overall development, from an economic development standpoint. And most importantly, I think as someone who owns a business here in downtown Montebello, it touches a lot on placemaking activations, which I think the city needs a lot more. I mean, we've done a lot of placemaking, so has David with Cisnowski, amazing placemaking activations that I think if we tied to economic development strategies would help overall achieve less empty storefronts, better economic mobility for the city, increase in sort of people moving into the city, increase in sales tax, property taxes, right? There's a lot of studies to support all this stuff. And so I just want to lend my support to it as a business owner in the city of Montebello, as someone who cares deeply about economic prosperity for the city. Just know that Jose worked really hard. We watched him work really hard with a lot of our input. And so, I really just want to lend my support and just know that Boulevard Market represent the tenants of Boulevard Market and some of the other vendors here. So just, thank you so much for the time and just want to support it 100%.
Okay, thank you. Bringing this back out of council level. Apologies, Councilmember Tamayo. The floor is yours.
I very much appreciate this presentation. I think it's like you mentioned, a 3-year action plan. And it is a partnership of property owners and residents and cities and businesses, as was previously stated. The higher economic growth leads to higher tax revenues, and this enables us and as government to use that money for our communities, to improve our communities. You touched on issues such as the business corridors that we want to grow, neighborhoods that we want to improve, and areas that we want to revitalize. And the placer data shows the increased visits in 2024. I know you didn't show that graph, but it's showing increases of that in 2024. So thank you for thinking out of the box and presenting to Montebello these opportunities that I think we have in front of us. But I really, really do think it is time to capitalize on the momentum that Montebello has now with the economic prosperity. So I'm delighted and happy to see this all put together in the prosperity plan. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Councilmember Tamayo. Councilmember Torres?
Thank you, Madam Mayor. There was a resident who earlier asked council what we wanted our legacy to be. And I'm really excited by the plan that's being presented this evening, by the hard work that you've done, by the way that the city has engaged with the business community to create a comprehensive vision for economic prosperity in our city. Because a couple years ago, in conversation with the city manager, then I asked, we hear from our residents all the time that we want more economic development, that we want new businesses. And I asked, well, what kind of effort are we doing towards that? Like, what kind of resources are we allocating? The response was basically that he and Director Palumbi did it in their spare time. From that conversation, I came to council and I put forward the question saying, we hear this from our residents. What are we doing to say that we're actually vigorously pursuing economic development in our city? And in that budget cycle, your position was created. All I can take credit for is asking the question. It was the council acting that created the position, and I think beyond our wildest imagination, to have someone who's been so passionate and has brought such a vast amount of experience to creating what we see tonight. I just want to say thank you for doing such an incredible job. To the residents, I just want to say that this plan is your city council's comment and statement, along with staff that has developed it, on what we want to see for the future of prosperity in our city. when we say that we want to have new restaurants, when we want to say that we want to have places to hang out, you really can't move very far without a comprehensive vision and without a comprehensive plan. And for the last 2 years, you and the rest of the staff have been so diligent in having those conversations with council, with residents, with businesses and stakeholders to create something that we can all feel is our own and something that we're all excited and looking forward to. So for anyone that hasn't been able to review this plan thoroughly, I would definitely suggest sitting down and going page by page and understanding the concerted effort that the city is going to be making over the next 3 years with the guidance of this plan to really move forward in a way that has never been so cohesive. So just, congratulations on the culmination of a lot of hard work. Director Palumbi. Yes. There you go. Director Palumbi, congratulations on pulling the team together along with Adrian at the chamber and our businesses and our business owners like Mr. Santos. This is just very exciting to see and something that should really be promoted and shared with the city to let residents know that not only are their voices being heard, but they're being acted on. Yeah. And that concludes my comments, Madam Mayor.
Thank you, Councilmember Torres.
And I'd like to double
yes.
as well and say thank you to Director Palumbi because he's been our leader for for a long time, and he knows how to bring the staff together. And within the planning department, we know that economic development and planning worked hand in hand. So I thank you for creating that environment within the office.
Okay, Mayor Pro Tem Melendez.
Thank you. Thank you for the presentation. Thank you for all of your hard work, as well as with the hard work of Director Palumbi. I think this is great. It's an investment for our community, for our neighborhoods. It's just the guiding principles, the mission statement, increasing entrepreneurship. It's definitely something that needed for all the opportunities that are coming into our city. Just echo what's been said. I know Barney, I reach out to you a lot on some opportunities or kind of get your feedback. It's a collective effort between our city, business owners and community to come together, blend all those ideas and really put a plan together. So it's exciting stuff. And again, thank you for all of your hard work.
We have to build trust. We have to build communication amongst all the parties. That's the hard part. Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem. We do have Councilmember Jimenez. Any comments?
Thank you, Mr. Garde. I know that was a lot to share. This is, again, I'll echo what my colleagues just said. So innovative, right? And it's so simple, but right, but just the collaboration of ideas between community and the stakeholders who are really the community and the business owners. And thank you, Barney. Did he leave? Oh, sorry, I can't see. For being one of the pioneers in the city. When some of us got elected years ago, I think financially we were in a really awful place where we couldn't even begin to conceptualize, right? Or even we couldn't afford this type of idea. And when you were coming this way, I know that it was one of the things that I told Mr. Palumbi. I was really excited to know that you were coming because I knew your background and I know where you came from and I know your expertise. So there was never a doubt in my mind that you were going to be able to take us, well, you and Mr. Palumbi, to this place now. But again, as a reminder to the community, when some of us first got elected, we didn't have 2 cents to rub together. And it took a lot of that stabilizing our finances in our city to be able to start putting projects like this right together for the community. So thank you, and I'm very excited.
Thank you very much, Councilmember.
Thank you. And then just lastly, really just echoing and kind of bringing in together my colleagues' comments, is just very thankful for yourself as well as for Directors Palumbi's work in making this possible. When myself and some of our colleagues first came onto council, we noticed that economic development was basically non-existent here in the city of Montebello. We had those pioneers like Mr. Barney Santos with Boulevard Market and Nathan with Angry Horse that really decided and made that conscious decision that Montebello was going to be where they were going to invest and really activate our area. And that conscious decision has led us into developing these types of plans where we are foreseeing a future in Montebello that brings in dining, that brings in entrepreneur programs, that brings in options where our residents can work, play, and live happily here in the city of Montebello. Being able to read through this 3-year implementation strategy, it's exciting to really delve deeper into some of the programs, such as a downtown arts incubator program. The city of Montebello last year adopted a private arts development fee fund, which any future developments contribute to this fund, where the city can then use this type of revenue to contribute to the arts, such as murals, such as fountains, such as activating our public spaces. Reading about the entrepreneur startup programs, really commending here Mr. Santos, who through his food hall was able to create this concept of bringing in local businesses, local entrepreneurs that didn't necessarily have the means and money to start their own brick and mortar, allowing them to be housed here in the city of Montebello, to operate, to learn how to run a business, and then eventually be able to start their own brick and mortar established business. Those are the types of entrepreneur programs and opportunities and startups and incubators that I would love to see here in the city of Montebello. And how do we partner and bring in those types of innovative minds here in the city of Montebello to be able to do that? You have incredible local organizations like Grid Alternatives Los Angeles, where they are actually creating a few month-long training program where they're teaching, partnering with residents. They house their program in their city, and they teach residents in this dedicated program, also certifying them to learn how to install solar panels and green and efficient energy technologies, and then hiring them because they provide these solar panel installations free to the community, hiring them to do this job, right? Creating this evolving pipeline of training residents to provide them the opportunities to be able to enter our workforce in jobs that they might not have ever imagined, right? Seeing some of the shop local campaigns that was also mentioned here. I know the city of Monterey Park has a dollar match program where they provide residents actual money and match the what they spend to dine and shop locally within their city. I'm sure those that tune in often see in our broken record in terms of me speaking about urban tree and canopy. Having the city of Montebello for the first time create a tree planting replacement program is something that is new. Seeing that this actually is being incorporated into this plan in terms of facilitating a citywide tree planting program and designing a shade network along important corridors is something that we have continuously advocated and fought for. And these corridors are so important in terms of having shading, because we have residents walking through these corridors, going to work, going to bus stops, oftentimes in the dead heat peak hours, and not having shade. So very excited to see this component in terms of urban infrastructure, green infrastructure being incorporated into this plan. And ultimately, as stated by my colleague here, Councilmember Torres, this is the legacy that we're creating for Montebello. This is the commitment in terms of creating an inclusive and prosperous community and being able to identify specific programs, specific strategies that now we can begin to implement and find funding for. This is, I think, an exciting time for Montebello, and just overall very thankful for the work that you and Director Palumbi, as well as your team, have conducted to get us here. So
thank you. And
yeah, absolutely.
Ms. Mayor, if I can add to your point, when we talk about tree canopy, when we talk about community shade network, sustainability, solar sustainability, very much within the public works space. However, what brings it into the economic development space is the workforce piece. And we should be looking at every opportunity to create that synergy between both. So thank you for sharing that.
Absolutely. So with that, I will go ahead and ask for a motion to approve this item.
Madam Mayor, if I can just say one more comment.
Apologies, yes, proceed.
So one of the things that I just want to mention in terms of this plan and implementing this plan is recognizing some of the unique challenges that are going to be faced in South Montebello over the next decade. There are a lot of elements in here that are going to lead to the prosperity of the city at large. But kind of considering, I think, two particular projects that we're going to see over the next decade and how that's going to affect businesses in South Montebello particularly needs to be paid close attention to. When it came to developing Topgolf, largely insulated by its own boundaries, didn't have to worry about the effects of construction on the streets or neighboring communities. When it came to construction at the Toll Brothers site, same thing, empty oil fields that weren't affecting very much. But as we're seeing the development of the ACE project and the ways that it's affecting that north-southbound traffic, and in the future, as we're looking at the Metro Gold Line coming in, the ways that that construction is going to be affecting businesses in the south, I just want to make the statement to the community that it is really incumbent on the council, that it's incumbent on the residents and the businesses for everyone to really come together and participate in making sure that the effects of these projects are being shared and fully understood, and also that we're making plans for the future, right? Because even though some of these things, for example, the Gold Line extension are far in the future, it's one of those projects where we can start preparing now. There are plenty of examples all across LA where we can see what the effects were, where we can learn what mistakes were made and hopefully prevent them, learn about how they were successful and hopefully magnify those successes. But I just want to make sure that with this economic prosperity plan, that the extensive impacts that are going to be faced as we go through these growing pains, right? Because when these projects are done, it's going to be incredible. Yeah. But as we go through those, just that the businesses in South Montebello are particularly taken into consideration and cared for. And again, just making that statement that it's really on us to make sure that we're doing that outreach and understanding the impacts there.
Very much. Thank you.
Okay. If I please can have a motion to approve.
I'll make the motion.
Okay, motion by Councilmember Torres, second by Councilmember Jimenez. If I can please have a roll call vote.
Councilmember Tamayo?
Aye.
Councilmember Torres?
Aye.
Mayor Pro Tem Melendez?
Aye.
Councilmember Jimenez?
Aye.
Mayor Peralta?
And I vote aye. Thank you very much.
Thank you all.
Mr.
Thank
Gardea. Okay, moving forward. Okay, we do have item number 14, award professional services agreement number 4195 with CityBot for artificial intelligence customer support services. We do have a presentation by Mr. David Sosnowski. The floor is yours.
Thank you, Mayor. I'm going to do my best again with the little cold here. But we're excited to propose this to City Council. It's our first venture in the Public Affairs Division into generative AI, as it's called. At the same time, we're working on a generative AI policy that will be shared and used citywide. But CityBot is our first venture into that. So we'll talk briefly about what CityBot is all about. So first slide here, a little bit background on why we're presenting this today and what the city's reach is through social media, through the city website, through the city app, phone calls per day, and why we're looking into these AI solutions, basically to help city staff be better responsive to our residents and provide better service. So you'll see on social media, the reach there, 3.9 million impressions per year. The My Montebello app, over 7,000 requests for service per year, 200 to 300 phone calls per day through the city phone lines. And our website on our new .gov domain has a lot more traffic. Numbers are not available yet since it's a new .gov service. So what is CityBot? As you see there on the screen, CityBot is a communication platform. It provides AI-based chat solutions for residents and their governments for efficient and timely communication. Using SMS, text message options, and web chat technology, CityBot communication platform automates customer service and increases citizen engagement, building relationships of trust between Montebello and its residents. Just some case studies on which larger cities out there are using CityBots. You see City of Bakersfield, City of Roseville, potentially Montebello would be the first in Southern California, LA County, San Gabriel area utilizing this feature. So we want to be innovative in that sense. On the screen there, you'll see how it looks in Bakersfield and Roseville. So city, if moving forward with this, gets to choose a cool and catchy catchphrase there. So Bakersfield, known for their Arch, their chat bot is called Archie. And in Roseville, it's called Rosie. So we could decide what we call Montebello's chat bot if we decide to go down that road. And we'll let the debate begin on that one. As a communication platform, CityBot is automated, fully integrated web assistant. Like I showed on the previous screen, it's a pop-up. Both the mobile and the web desktop versions of our website. You'll see that's also the case with our social media platforms as well. It provides a conversational customer service experience. So basically you ask it a question, it provides you the answer based on the content on your website. So some examples, residents could submit a service request, so the integration to our My Montebello app. You could say, I have a pothole. It'll say, what's your name? What's the location? And basically create a work order for folks that don't have the My Montebello app, don't know how to download it, or don't want to download it. You ask questions about city services, when street sweeping, what days are the yard sales allowed, et cetera. Finding real-time rider alert information. So one thing when we did our research with CityBot, we wanted to make sure it could integrate with the Montebello Bus Lines page and their live data with the bus lines and the rider alerts. So folks that are relying on the bus routes could be able to get real-time updates. And it could send direct messages to folks 24/7. So implementation, how it works. Again, if we move forward, CityBot will provide and activate a 24/7 phone number. It's an opt-in on SMS text messaging. You would text the number, and then it would ask you, are you sure you want to be part of this? You know, messaging rates apply, et cetera. It also will install CityBot products via the cloud, web-based. So city website goes down, the service is still available. Sets up the cloud storage off-site, again, neutral and away from the city storage, and facilitate all necessary training with city staff. CRM integration, which is our city app. CityBot can integrate into the city's Montebello CRM, service request management, as I mentioned, and take in requests through the My Montebello app through their services. Besides all those great features on the back end, city staff have access to all the analytics. So CityBot will set up analytic dashboard for city staff to use to see how this is basically how it's working, how responsive it is, if CityBot is giving the correct answers, if CityBot is providing timely answers, what type of questions, what's the frequently asked questions that we are providing answers to, and different analytics. So we can store the information, aggregate the information, and display in a user-friendly format and share back with staff and city council about where our needs are. One thing you'll hear us say about this is it's all content based off the city's website, the city's social media platform. So if we have good, up-to-date content on our city website and our Facebook and our Instagram, CityBot will take only that information and provide that back. So kind of makes staff be a little bit more on top of our website management and our social media platforms. The data is stored in a secured cloud storage system indefinitely and as per FOIA requirements. City of Montebello will receive monthly reports via email from CityBot staff in addition to the analytics dashboard. Also, CityBot helps us out with marketing services. So as an onboarding packet, it includes the web chat icon design, again, choosing the cool name for our graphic there, and a copy for our social media campaign and outreach. So obviously we want to share this with folks and let them know what our new service would be if we go down this road. A press release will be provided as well, again, to share that this new content is being made available. And then why do we choose CityBot? There are competitors out there. Some things that made it stand apart. In addition, there's more detail in the staff report. There's after-hours support for city staff. So you guys know that City Hall is open Monday through Thursday, 7:30 a.m. to 5:30 p.m. If we manage our content correctly and the city website's up to date and the social media platforms have the correct answers to questions, this is basically a 24/7 help desk. So folks can get answers to questions any time of day, any time of night. Also, CityBot integrates over 70 languages built in, so if you ask a question directly in Spanish, it's going to answer in Spanish, Chinese, etc. It doesn't need a conversion tool. Other vendors evaluated did not have the ability to translate built in, was an added feature, or required a set amount of staff to engage with the bots daily, essentially not able to provide the answers without staff support, which would kind of defeat the purpose of the 24/7. Next page just breaks down the pricing, so you'll see there's integration fees, just transparently. It's on the staff report as well as the recommendation on the agenda. So there's one-time implementation fees to the city's website, to the Tyler My Civic, which is the city app, My Montebello. Then there's the annual subscription fees for the web chat icon, multi-language translation built in, SMS option, and the Facebook and Instagram. So total one-year costs are higher for the first year because of the integration, and it goes down in the following years. And that is my brief presentation. Also want to give thanks to folks that worked on this. Alex Gilman from Public Affairs put a lot of time into this, so if I need a call to the bullpen, if my voice gives out, he'll come up here and take over. But open to any questions.
Okay. Going down the line, we have Councilmember Tamayo.
No questions, but I do think, of course, communication is important. So the more we can do and the different ways to do it is important. And, I see ourselves as facilitators of information, of what information is here at the city, what information the residents are looking for. So the more bridges we can build between us and getting the information out there, I think is helpful. So thank you very much.
Okay, Councilmember Torres.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. If we can go back one slide. So looking at the costs of this program is one of many things to be excited for. You could not hire someone to give 24/7 support across multiple platforms in multiple languages for $32,000 a year. Not with wages, not with benefits, and definitely not with that kind of availability. So I'm very excited to see how this feature rolls out on our platforms. Very excited to see the kind of engagement that we get, and definitely want to encourage people as soon as it's implemented to really start stretching its legs so we can find the bugs and the kinks and get that worked out. But just very appreciative of staff for kind of putting Montebello on the forefront of AI adoption and really in service of our residents and increasing our capabilities and sharing the information that's important to them.
Thank you. Mayor Pro Tem Melendez.
Thank you. Thank you for the presentation. I think I've spoken to staff on how much I appreciate artificial intelligence, and I feel like it can be utilized when it's utilized in a good way. I think something like this helps with transparency and information, and making sure that we have the right information, the correct information when somebody goes there and tries to ask a question, and we can direct them to the appropriate place. I would like to see this, I think I asked a question, but if this could be put on social media or anything like that, and how it can go into those functions as well. In the future, I think it would be great to see how artificial intelligence can help us with the processes of getting things done here in the city, whether going through like plan checks or pulling a permit, that pretty much artificial intelligence can lead it all the way until they need to see that human element. And I think it could help us with with a lot of the work that staff might be doing at this point, and also makes it easier for the resident, business owner to be able to do that, maybe at the comfort of their home, and not come here until they have to come here. So I think there's a lot of things that can be done with this. We're kind of scraping the surface right now of what AI can do, but I think there's a lot of opportunity, and again, starting with something like this makes sense, and then adding more components to it and seeing, certain things that are happening in neighboring cities or what's going on with other programs or anything that can enhance this type of service. I think that's something that we can definitely look in the near future. Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem. Councilmember Jimenez?
Thank you, David. I could hear the excitement in your voice, although you're sick, but what an efficient way to begin to do things. And yeah, this is pretty exciting. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilor Jimenez. And then just lastly, for myself, extremely excited for us to venture into the ways that technology can make us more efficient and responsive to our residents. My inbox, whether it's my city email, my Instagram, my Facebook, or even text messages, oftentimes just gets inundated with questions such as, is the splash pad open tomorrow? How do I pull a parking permit? Will street sweeping be coming through tomorrow? And doing my best to be as responsive as possible, ensuring that our residents have access to this information. And so having a component, a technological component like CityBot, being able to, whether it's texting the specified number or going to the website and being able to ask these questions and get immediate answers will help improve the daily lives of our residents who are seeking these specific answers to whatever situation might be impacting them in that moment and time. So very excited to be venturing into this type of capability for our city. Looking forward to spreading the word. Looking forward to figuring out what the name of the CityBot will be here for the city of Montebello. I think that's a creative avenue to see. I know our city manager threw out the oily, but maybe our Spartans up at Sherman.
Actually, just thinking a lot. I mean, why don't we put some names out there and have the community kind of decide? I mean, I think David will be up for putting something up, maybe a poll or make some recommendations.
That actually would be really fun. So I don't know if that requires an amendment to the motion, but I would like to just survey the community, throw out some names, and just have residents vote on the name that they would like this specific CityBot function to have here in the city of Montebello. So with that, I will go ahead and ask for a motion. Do I have that community engagement aspect? Is just okay. Okay, so.
And just to, I guess as an idea along the same train is a community competition, essentially. Maybe instead of putting names out to them, have them create the names and vote and see which one ends up on top.
So with that, I will go ahead and ask for a motion to approve the item.
I'll motion.
Okay, can I please get a second?
Second.
Okay, motion by Councilmember Torres and second by Councilmember Tamayo. If I can please have roll call, Mr. City Clerk.
Councilmember Tamayo?
Aye.
Councilmember Torres?
Aye.
Mayor Pro Tem Melendez?
Aye.
Councilmember Jimenez?
Aye.
Mayor Peralta?
And I vote aye. And that now leads us to our consent calendar. Mr. City Attorney, can you please read the statement of approval on consent items, and will you allow the council to pull items of interest for discussion?
Certainly, Madam Mayor. The consent calendar consists of all matters listed under the consent calendar are considered to be routine. Any items a member wishes to discuss, including any items the public submitted speaker cards for, should be designated at this time. All other items may be approved in a single motion. Such approval will also waive the reading of any ordinance. Councilmember Tamayo, would you like to pull anything off of consent?
No items for me.
Okay, Councilmember Torres.
No items.
Mayor Pro Tem Melendez.
No items.
Councilmember Jimenez.
21.
Okay, item 21 is pulled off of consent, and Mayor Peralta.
And I will pull items number 22 and 36. And to confirm, were there any public speaker cards for any items?
No speaker cards.
Okay, so items 21, 22, and 36.
That is correct.
Okay. Yes, so we, can I get a motion to approve items 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, and 37.
I'll make the motion.
Okay, thank you, Mayor Pro Tem Melendez. Can I get a second?
I'll second.
Okay, thank you, Councilor Torres. Mr. City Clerk, can you please do roll call to approve the items as read into the record?
Councilor Tamayo,
Aye.
Councilor Torres,
Aye.
Mayor Pro Tem Melendez,
Aye.
Councilor Jimenez,
Aye.
Mayor Peralta.
And I vote aye. That leads us to item number 21, adopt specifications for construction of Belverde Drive pavement rehabilitation project and authorization to proceed with the bid advertisement. Councilor Jimenez, you have the floor.
I hadn't had a chance to look at the staff report. I just wanted to see where's, how are we paying for this? Where's the funding coming from for this, this rehabilitation project?
Cesar, do you want to take that and just kind of give a little bit more history on the project, how we got here?
Thank you, Mr. City Manager. Council member, good question. So this was actually a project that was adopted in last year's 5-year capital project. And so the funding is actually coming from non-general fund, a combination of Metro funding and then local return funding as well.
Thank you.
Okay, if that concludes any other questions or comments, can I please ask for a motion to approve?
I'll second.
Okay, motion by Councilor Torres, second by Mayor Pro Tem Melendez. Can I please have a roll call vote?
Councilor Tamayo,
Aye.
Councilor Torres,
Aye.
Mayor Pro Tem Melendez,
Aye.
Councilor Jimenez,
Aye.
Mayor Peralta.
And I vote aye. That leads us to item number 22, which is adopt plan specifications and engineer estimate for upgrades to the Montebello City Park baseball field renovation project and authorize to proceed with the bid advertisement. I pulled this item, and it's a general comment that I would like to make and reflect is just that I'm extremely excited to support this item, which will earmark nearly $500,000 of funding by the city's Measure A Parks Fund to renovate the baseball field here at City Park. This will include renovating the infield, outfield services, replacing the dugouts, the bleachers, irrigation systems, outfield turf, and fencing. These upgrades are essential to increasing the utilization of our baseball fields by our local sports programs, school organizations, and residents as well. This will not only improve the aesthetics and the functionality of our baseball field, but will also create a safer and more enjoyable environment. By investing in our parks and our recreational facilities, we are also investing in the health and well-being of the future of our community. I do just want to thank our Montebello Baseball Association. They have been extremely vocal and very active in providing us with their advocacy in terms of the need to be for funding and renovation of the different fields as well as amenities at our public parks. This specific one is, I know, something that they've been looking forward to. We still have a lot of more work to do. I know we have Grant Ray Park, Shea Park, Parks Reggie, as well as Chet Holly Field that we've been working towards in terms of applying for funding, grants, and different types of earmark opportunities. So with that, I would personally just like to make the motion to approve this item. May I please receive a second?
I second.
Okay, second by Councilmember Tamayo. Can I please get roll call?
Councilor Tamayo,
Aye.
Councilor Torres,
Aye.
Mayor Pro Tem Melendez,
Aye.
Councilor Jimenez, Mayor Peralta.
And I vote aye. That item passes with unanimous consent. Moving forward, item 36, adopt resolution number 2460, amending the City of Montebello classification plan to include the job specifications for the classification of police community service officer, lead finance technician, and construction manager. I am pulling this item that speaks to the amendment to our municipal classification plan to include the job specifications for the classification of the police community service officer. This item reflects the recent approval that council made in our latest budget in terms of the creation of a new public safety park division. Recent waves of crimes and theft have severely impacted our parks. Just last week alone, the restrooms at Ashia Park were vandalized and impacted, and the water meter at Grant Ray Park was stolen, which disrupted our splash pad and our barnyard zoo operations, with leaving both our children and our animals there without necessary water during the peak summer heat. These incidents really underscore the urgent need to have dedicated personnel to safeguard our community spaces. The creation of our new public park safety division is a proactive measure and a responsive measure that this council has taken to enhance safety and security at our parks. These officers will play a crucial role in maintaining a safe and welcoming environment for our residents, focusing on crime prevention and community engagement. They'll help deter and respond to issues such as the vandalism, the theft, and the crime that we have seen in these past recent months, ensuring that our public spaces do remain safe and enjoyable here in the city. Extremely proud about this new program that is coming, and just thankful to my colleagues for approving that. So with that, I will also like to motion to approve item number 36, and if I can please get a second.
I'll second.
Okay, second by our Mayor Pro Tem Melendez. Can I please have roll call?
Councilmember Tamayo?
Aye.
Councilmember Torres?
Aye.
Mayor Pro Tem Melendez?
Aye.
Councilmember Jimenez?
Aye.
Mayor Peralta?
And I vote aye. Item number 36 does pass with unanimous consent. That does lead us to AB 1234 travel reports. Just looking across the aisle. Any reports? No reports? Okay. And there are also no council orals this evening. So with that, I would like to receive a motion to adjourn to the next regular meeting that will be taking place. Oh, the wrong date is here, I think. August what? Okay, August 14th at 6 p.m. If I can please receive a motion to adjourn.
I'll make the motion.
Okay, motion by our Mayor Pro Tem, and we are adjourned at 9:42. Thank you everyone for your participation today. Have a great rest of your night.
Have a good night. Thank you.